Hello everybody, it's me, Mr. Easily McTriggered, and welcome back to what will be the last video on the Henry Stickmin collection. As you can see, we have reached maximum multiverse imbalance. We've gotten all the endings, we got all the fails, so the universe has reached maximum balance. But before we do that, it's time to review everyone's bios from breaking the bank all the way to completing the missions. Without further ado, let's get that started. So first of all, breaking the bank. Henry Stickmin himself. Short on cash, it's time to go get some. That's how it's all started. He just wanted some cash, so he decided to rob a bank. Chad Henson. Fresh out of college, guarding a bank sounds awesome. Unfortunately, this job happens to be in the middle of nowhere. Philly Collin. Philly's been working as a guard at this bank vault for 5 years now. He loves the badass look of the uniform. Ted Mcadams, the driver of the bank truck. He and Winston have been partners for many years. Ted has always been the driver. Winston Davis. He always rides shotgun in the bank truck. Kirk. He prefers looking at the scenery rather than focusing on the road. Escaping the prison. Henry. Arrested for attempted burglary of the bank. He now sits in Red Mesa Penitentiary. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's the prison. Rupert Price. He's been on the force for nearly 8 years. He joined the police academy right out of high school. Dave Pampa. He's new to the force and eager to do a good job, but he forgot to check the cake, so Henry used whatever was inside to escape, and he got fired. Harold Ronson. He works as the prison's janitor, but he also enjoys doing their maintenance work. Blade Knifeman McGee. Multiple life sentences for multiple counts of murder. He gave himself the nickname Knife Man because he uses a knife. Kev Portley. He only became a cop because he knows cops eat donuts and he loves donuts. You won't catch him doing much police work. In fact, he was eating a donut when we stopped time with that energy drink. Stump Flum. He was beat up a lot as a child because of his name. For obvious reasons. Yeah. He probably joined them to get revenge. Or the police to get revenge. Ryan Goldman. Red Mesa Penitentiary. Employee of the month for the month of June. Okay then. Carlos Burt. He works a desk job at the prison. He prefers it over going into the dangerous field. Straight Shooter. Legally changed his name to Straight Shooter. He spits off fire and raps mad lyrics. Respect. Jen Brunn. One of the administrators of the prison. She keeps it running in decent condition. John Farn. A rookie to the team. This is the first meeting he's ever attended. John Grits. Just got back up from breaking up a fight between two inmates. It didn't go so well. John Saskatchewan. He joined the police force for the action, but they've stuck him behind a desk. John Barley. Failed at a firearms training 3 times. He's technically not allowed to use his weapon outside of the shooting range. Captain Jeffrey Custard. 30 years ago, a janitor threw out his lunch. He's held a grudge against janitors. Is that why he proposed more donuts in the break room and he said, "Shut up, janitor, you don't count"? Probably. Jonas Nugan. He's been quickly moving up the ranks. Just needs to pass that marksman exam. But unfortunately, when we used the teleporter, we ended up right in the middle of his marksman exam, and so he shot us instead of the target. Captain Roland Canterbury. Man in charge of all officer trainer said Red Mesa. Known to be very strict. Hendricks. Always sleeping on the job. Nobody knows his first name. Guess it's because he's too sleepy to say it. Pete Sound. Notorious for taking food that isn't his from the employee fridge. There he is stealing donuts. Sally Q. She often gets confused for someone else, which is strange because she doesn't even have red hair. Gary Gray. Constantly put on evidence duty. His least favorite job. Must be why he's exhausted because there's way too much evidence. Ungus Bungus. Met a harsh fate many years ago. Felix White, the city's most prominent defense attorney. He works hard to ensure innocent people are not put away. Original escaping prison, he was the Felix Wright, ace attorney, but had to change the name to avoid copyright. Hubert Brown, one of the city judges. It's very difficult to tell him apart from other judges in the city. Why did they all have those big bushy beards and eyebrows? Vladimir Von Braun, nemesis to Mr. White. He's pretty cocky in his ability to put criminals away. This often becomes his downfall. Winston, the same Winston for breaking the bank, has been deposed due to his involvement in the banks breaking. Either way, he won't be going back to his old job anytime soon because we successfully depicted him as the guilty one because Felix managed to pass off their not being tied on the outside of the bank as Winston beat up Henry and stuffed him into the bank. I mean, Even though Henry demonstrated breaking the bank that he's capable of tying a knot on the outside of the bag when he's inside, normally that isn't possible. So Felix passed that as him attempting to dispose of the body. Chuck Salmons. He works at Sandwich City and enjoys his free sandwich for lunch every day. Jono Grumpturd. He's received jury duty 27 times this year. This can make even the most cheery man cynical. Okay then. Must be why Grump is in his name. Dan Slodged. Hailing from a foreign country, this is his first time in the big city. Steve Stevens grinds away at his office job daily. He dreams of owning a pizza shop. Bart Slim. He's been on the force for 6 years and yet there are still days that surprise him. Okay then. Tom Hardley. He takes his job very seriously. Never seems to take those sunglasses off. Guess he wants to look cool. Captain Ed Roberts, the chief of police here at Red Mesa. He runs a tight ship and expects the best from all of his cadets. Jimothy Pug, fairly new to the force, does not handle pressure well, so when Henry did the finger gun, he got frightened. Michael Benz joined the force at the same time as his best friend. He's the clean-shaven one. Sean. This is his first day back from a nice vacation. You ruined it. And Matthew Flexer joined the force at the same time as his best friend Michael. He has a goatee. And stealing the diamond. Henry. Life has been rough after breaking out of prison. Time makes a quick cash by stealing the Tunisian diamond. Mayor Frederickson, the underdog winner of last year's election. He's popular among the citizens because of his love for the arts. Jeff Stickley enjoys his rooftop posts. It gives him a chance to admire the stars. He considers himself an amateur astronomer. Ted Mcadams, same one for breaking the bank. He's quit working as an armored truck driver after, Winston got arrested. So he took the night job at the security at the museum because he figured that would be safer than driving the truck. But then when he saw Henry stealing the diamond, damn it. Jacob Rose, the museum's newest hire. He's still in training, so he's not allowed to work unsupervised quite yet. Cliff Nux. He picked up smoking so he could take more breaks. Lazy bum. Conrad Connors. He got the job as a security guard because his friend hooked him up. They tend to work the shifts together. Billy Barnes usually manages to work the same shift as his friend. I guess his friend is Conrad. Zach Nutt. He takes his job seriously. Some of his co-workers get annoyed because of his constant use of the walkie-talkie. Himbert Sult works for the museum on a foreign exchange program. No one knows exactly which country he's from because it's a mix of different nationalities. Billy Cludd. Always looking for excuses to use his nightstick. He loves to show up his skills to his co-workers. Sam Turner. They love the guarding aspect of security guard work. Actually dealing with the burglars, not so much. Sam Turner, and referred with they, them pronouns, so transgender, I see. Interesting. Richard Wilkins. He's a hard-working fellow who always tries to do his best. He loves chocolate. Todd Slimmons. It's hard to work odd hours at the museum. Your sleep hours get all messed up. He's doing his best. Rupert Price, same one for the prison. His workplace suffered a huge embarrassment. He's determined to work extra hard now. Johnny Panzer. He's seen rising quickly through the ranks, and it's no surprise, his skills are well above average. Jack Sheen, the only helicopter pilot on the force who could fly to the city and back in under 2 hours. That fast, huh? Samuel Mundy. He's not a crazy assassin, but he doesn't work for the police department either. Looks like he was hired for a job. He's a hired gunman. James Lancelot. Frequently eats at those medieval restaurants. Claims his family used to be nobles way back then. When? Dave Pampa, same Dave Pampa from the prison. He was fired from his previous job for negligence. He bounced back quickly though and found a new job as a security guard. Kurt Dietrich. This guy hates going to work. Not to mention they paired him with someone annoying newbie. Ugh. They paired him with Dave. He never stops talking. Joseph Joe. He may not look it, but he's a scrappy guy. He's not itching for a fight, but he won't back down if challenged. Timothy Lewis goes by Tim. His work shift usually involves running a nightly patrol. Alexander Garb. He's scared of heights and bugs. So when we released that pterodactyl, well, that thing carried away into the freaking sky. Tony Franz. He's secretly in the mafia. He got placed here so he could launder money. Clyde Jenkins, a standard-level employee at the Center for Chaos Containment. CCC patrol requires you to run action by a superior officer. Corporal Bill Bullitt, the person in charge of the Chaos Containment Center. Central Breach. He's pretty lax and trusts his agents to do their job well. Infiltrating the airship. Henry Stickmin, again, captured by the government, he's been given the chance to clear his name by taking down the notorious Top Hat clan. Captain Galeforce, the man in charge of the undercover top hat raid. It was his idea to recruit Henry, because, dude's got quite the skills, so he figured he'd be perfect for the job. Charles Calvin, veteran helicopter pilot for the government. He's one of the youngest and most experienced pilots. Robert Price, once again, from the prison. He's moved up through the ranks quickly. He felt that he could do more in the military than what he did as a policeman. Reginald Copperbottom, the current leader of the Top Hat clan. He wears the hat of the previously dethroned leader. Right-hand man. He's the Top Hat chief's right hand. Nobody knows his true name. Jeffrey Plum. His abnormally large head makes it hard for him to see. Sledge McRush. He can swing a sledgehammer faster than most people swing a blade. Hans Spearman. Bit of a loose cannon. He's known for stabbing wildly with great range. Hatchman, nicknamed as such because he watches the hatch, like a doorman, but for hatches. Slice. Took a blade to the face during an encounter. Now he prefers to stay behind the scenes. Winston Davis, the same Winston Davis from the bank in prison, lost his truck driving job due to multiple investigations after a stowaway was found inside the bank. So now he works for the clan. Magnus Ericsson, an eager new member looking to move up in the ranks. Floyd Winters. He picked out the most stylish hat he could find when he joined. Dreams of opening a worm farm one day. Okay. Durbert Daniels. He's been hooked on the hot new mobile game we call Between Us 2. Douglas Murr. He's not a big fan of being airborne. He's looking to transfer to a different division. Wilhelm Krieghaus. He's pretty sharp when it comes to technology. The airship's doors are just notoriously stinky. No, he's a moron. He wasn't using the card right at all. Handsome Harold. He considers himself the face of the Top Hats. With 18 CHA, he's good at talking his way out of a bad situation. Okay, this one's glitched because every time you try to click it, just shows the bio of the previous one I selected. So in this case, it shows Harold's bio. So sadly, we're never going to know who this guy was. All we do know was he was working in the dark room, and then because Charles rerouted the power, his photos got ruined. Matthew Norbert. He joined the Top Hats because he couldn't really think of anything better to do. Benjamin Borsias. Loves playing single-player, linear, story-heavy video games. Wears 2 monocles for twice the class. Thomas Chestershire. Oldman. He's actually not that old, but the gray hair caused everyone to give him the nickname. Herb Stokes. Master crane operator. He's invented 4 tricks he can only do with a crane. Another glitched bio, sadly. 2-Ton Tony. He switched from the Mafia to the Top Hat clan. He had more flexible hours and more stylish gear. Cup of Joe. He volunteered for the tech support job so he could be alone and mess around on the computer. That must be why Civilization was there. He downloaded it. Terrence Suave, the previous leader of the Top Hat clan. He was overthrown because of his reckless nature and poor leadership. So, Sir Wilford IV, fourth of his name, one of the strongest leaders in Top Hat clan history. Billy G. He was quite the romantic, despite multiple claims that he's not my lover. TRNK. A failed experiment in resurrecting a long-dead leader. Didn't last long before he turned on everyone. Josh Finks. He's secretly been considering leaving the Top Hat clan. Manuel Friend. He was so eager to finally fly on the airship. It was his dream ever since he joined the Top Hat clan. Harry Butts. He'll never admit it, but he joined the Top Hat clan to get back at everyone that made fun of his name growing up. Yeah, not big surprise. Round a pounder. Round a gonna pound ya. His catchphrase. Mr. Blank was on track for a doctorate but ran into financial troubles. He joined the Top clan in hopes of funding himself again. Mac Damper. He follows orders. All his money goes to his flower shop back home. Flex Hamley. A meathead. Unleash him and he's like a mad dog. Nurtle Kage. The secret technique of running way faster, plus it makes it harder to get hit by bullets. He does the Naruto run. Bob Haas. This is his first mission outside his training. He's really worried he won't do a good job. Joe Hunter. He was hoping to see some action in the Top Hat mission. Good thing Henry failed then. Okay then. Ryu. He joined the Top Hat clan in hopes of traveling the world to find the strongest fighters. Kent. He was betrayed by his friend who left the academy to join the Top Hat clan. He hopes to bring it back. So the guys are parodies of Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter, and these guys were friends, but then Ryu joined the Top Hat clan, so he's trying to bring it back, but feels he needs to beat him just to get his senses back. Samuel Mundy. Once again, the Diamond. He was contracted out in case of a large battle with the Top Hats broke out. They hired him. Jacques Letouche, a sneaky devil. He tries to disguise himself as members of the enemy ranks, though his top hat never disappears. Monty's the sniper. Jacques is the spy. Mr. Brimley. He wears his hat super low, which makes him a bit difficult to see, honestly. That's why you never see his eyes. They're obscured by his hat. Sammy Sorry. He refuses to ever apologize for anything on principle. Kind of ironic that Sorry is his surname. Nate Box. He was called into action before he passes close quarters combat training, so he ain't ready for that yet. Quick Draw, one of the fastest shooters in the Top Clan. His accuracy is not so good though, because he fires too fast, I guess, to never think. Goo Guy. One awkward conversation about goo on your first day, and that's all you're known for. Wilton Stone. Head of this branch of the Center of the Chaos Containment Center. His employees agreed that he is one of the best CCC directors. Larry Gordon. For someone who works at a Center for Chaos Containment, he doesn't take the news of chaos very well. Abigail Stone. Wife of Wilson Stone. His time away can be tough, but they weathered many years together. Timmy Stone, son of Wilson and Abigail Stone. He loves spending time with his dad and when he comes back from work. Mert Steele, creator of the mobile suit prototype, along with his brother. He sketched up the mathematics and did the math. And this is his brother Kurt Steele, creator of the mobile suit prototype, along with his brother constructed and engineered the suits. And Mordecai Booker. Cool suits. Can I try? Saved Dave Papa from escaping the prison and stealing the diamond. He's somehow got captured by the Top Hat clan. For one reason or another, he got captured. Now for fleeing the complex. Henry Stickmin. Back in jail, huh? The icy cold cells of the wall will be very hard to escape from. Ellie Rose. She's locked up in this place too. But why? No one knows. Dmitry Joannes Petrov, the warden of the wall. There hasn't been any sort of breakout in the 50 years he's been in charge, so the day Henry showed up and we did the convict analyze route, well, we have to break out everybody. Grigory Olyat, the warden's second in command and main muscle, gets brought in for the difficult jobs. Charles, he doesn't mind helping out an old ally, even if he's currently on a mission. Reginald Copperbottom, seems he's been managing the Top Hats in Henry's absence. He'll have to go back to being second soon. Heath Stone. He guards the storage room with his friend. They love to talk about their favorite mobile card game. Isaac Ben Binderson, friend of Heath Stone. He guards the storage room with him. Loves collecting random trinkets. Explains the pickpocket route when we stole all the random things from him. Horace Johnson. One of the 4 guards responsible for Seltwa patrol. It's not that eventful unless all of the doors happen to open. Mike Mulligan. Kind of a slacker. He likes to find a secluded place and mess around on his phone. Abraham Jocelyn. Jolly lad. When in a good mood, he treats his friends to lunch on their break. Joris Borkier. Doesn't speak English too well, but he's found a crew at work that he loves to hang out with. Travis Ump. He enjoys his job at the wall because he gets to hang out and chill with his friends. That doesn't mean he slacks off. And Olaf Nordgren. He usually makes his own lunch, but won't turn down a free meal. Nikolai Dietrim. The master of the lab squad. He runs a class on it twice a week in the rec room. Matthews Guardsmith. Don't tell anyone, but his mom bought him those earmuffs, and he's a bit embarrassed by it. Gary Mann. A man of complete mystery. He's basically just the G-Man from Gary's Mod or Half-Life or whatever. Captain Laszlo Ugovich. The captain of the naval division of the Wall. He's in charge of one ship, the only one the Wall has. And Milos Krakowski. A recruit in the Wall's naval forces. They run sea-based retrieval operations, and he knows when departures are scheduled. Thormund Rilok. He finds his work post very dull and uneventful. He relishes a challenge. Friedrich Spielen. Once in a group of members that doesn't speak any English. He supposedly speaks German. Harold Cooper. Got the job at the Wall through his German friend against a would-be Friedrich. His English isn't the best, but he's fluent in German. Will Speck. He's the type of guy that won't stop trash-talking the other team when catching a sports game, even if they can't hear. And when watching a sports game. Luis Stoop. He hates his job at the Wall, but hates being stationed out. He likes his job at the Wall, but hates being stationed out in the cold. Koka Kolinski. He used to fight professionally, but after losing to a first-time fighter, he hung it up to work at the Wall. So he's a parody of one of the fighters from Punch-Out. He lost to Little Mac. And I guess he's supposed to be either Vodka Dronketsky, aka Soda Popinski. Best guess. Andre Warzel. People have said he used to lead armies. He really knows his way around the tank, so maybe there's some truth in that. Karlov Chernik, a master swordsman hired by the wall to train the employees. His skill with the blade is something to behold. Carol Pinkerton. You may not look it, but he's traveled the world. His head's looking like an orange, ain't it? Nah, it's not really looking like an orange to me. Newt Stoneheel. The Stoneheel family is known for their strangely dense feet. Franz Ferd. Honestly, he's pretty clueless most of the time. He's just meant to look menacing with a spear. Daniel Dolch. He's lived in the area all his life and really knows how to handle the environment. Lemoy Kreutz. They call him DK for a while. It's short for doesn't know how to drive. He's since gotten his license. Jimothy Johnston. They've never had to take the cars out before, so he's really just winging it. Lee Bumbler. He dreams of starting his own gaming company. He's already got a name picked out, named after himself. Okay. Willie Wagner. A fairly recent employee of the wall, still getting into the swing of things. Nadia Merakova. She's here as part of an internship. Her real dream is to open her own complex, and sadly, this is yet another glitched bio that disguised the undercover agent. Jim Pinkson. He loves jelly and jelly sandwiches. There's so many possible combinations. Kado Ito. He's known how to bend since childhood. He's kept his secret until this moment. Ryan Halbert, one of the youngest employees at the wall. His dad is one of the higher ups, so he gets special treatment. Joe Joshin. Just Joshin, yeah. He's earned that joke about 7 million times. Gordon Smith. Having a newborn at home causes him to lose a lot of sleep. He's been falling asleep at work a lot lately. Maybe he ought to quit so he can focus more on his family. Joey Walnut. Tends to order enough food for 3 people and eat it all on his own. Greedy pig. Sal Mann. He forgets to bring his uniform into work at least once a week. Sten Vilo. His favorite post is on the fire escape. He can watch the snow fall into the ocean below. Gertrude Johansson. He gets a lot of slack for wearing sunglasses at night. This is his style, baby. Alex Kempter. He's been trying to get a SAM turret installed in the complex for years, but can't get in through the bureaucracy. Arnold Schwarz. Always the loudest voice in the room. His voice is booming for his eyes. He's a parody of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He even says, "Get to the airship." That's like Arnold was saying, "Get to the chopper." Wilhelm Krieghaus. Same one from the airship. He may struggle with technology, but when it comes to action and combat, he excels. Shershot Sherman. One of the top riflemen in the top clan. He's leading the mission to rescue Henry. Thomas Cheshire, once again, from the airship. He enjoyed Henry's brief leadership. People could tell he was bummed out when Henry went missing. Mr. Cool. He rarely speaks. His charisma speaks for him. Wild Willie. He thinks he's a prospector from the 1800s. Seems he went a bit on a bit of a rampage, granting him a stay at the wall. Castro. A practitioner of the dark arts of fecomancy. He's a toilet wizard. Fecomancy will obviously have to relate to feces. Punkhauser. He's a part of a notorious German biker gang. He's the only member to have been caught so far. Uba. Found frozen deep in the snow at Svalbard. After thawing out, he regained consciousness and became hostile. Angry Mike. A wanderer traveling in the desert. He became notorious in the area and had to be collected. Jack Stickeye. A crazy loud Irishman. Not quite sure what he did to get locked up here, but he probably deserves it. Yeah, he's meant to be the cameo of Jacksepticeye himself. Gus Garnell. This guy's a 4-armed alien. Apparently he used to be a big-time racer. Ace Apex. Your attitude to the wall. Just a total bro. Melvin Poolridge. Even though he's extremely nerdy, he loves hanging out with the boys. Derek Gorulik. He doesn't have much of a sense of humor, at least during work hours. Colby Phelps thinks of himself as something of a detective. He can easily become hostile if he suspects any foul play. Dan the Man. He wants to go by Dan Steele, but it was taken. Lil Mikey. He's honestly not supposed to be locked up in the wall. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and took the fall for someone else. Pierre Franco is one of the most notorious baguette burglar in France. He was finally captured when he tried to take out the biggest bakery in all of France. Babushka. While Babushka is a female term, he wears the title with pride. He's a soft interior and looks out for the downtrodden. Carl the Clown. He ran a huge circus scam 10 years ago. He avoided the bust multiple times by dressing up like a clown. Polus Petrovich. He won the sweepstakes and got to name a planet after himself. Kyle Baxter. He's actually the Wall's Chaos Containment Center liaison. Their goal is to get priority during any possible chaos incidents. Sean S.E. Lemming. A natural leader, mainly because it's the role he was assigned. Mark Emu. He said he tried not to laugh, but then he laughed. That's grounds for capture. And yeah, he's the Markiplier. Cameo. Mark Emu, Markiplier. That's him. Misha Sashavel. He used to be part of a crazy group of mercenaries. He was the only one to be captured, and he's honestly probably the most sane one now. Peter Wayland. He did one of those scare people to bring down the lamp and goodbye for cheap bruises, but was fed by a group of kids and their dogs. He's a Scooby-Doo villain, huh? Ray Rudolfo. He's come down with a case of leprosy, so he's been put in quarantine with the other sickly inmates. And lastly, all the bias from completing the mission. And oh boy, do we have a long list to go through. Henry Stickmin. What could happen next? What's he up to this time? Well, your choice. Reginald Copperbomb. Being the leader of the Tobak clan is something he takes a lot of pride in. Right-hand man, reborn. His defeat by Henry left him in bad shape. Cybernetic surgery brought him back, stronger than ever before. Ellie Rose. After escaping from the wall, things have really opened up. What's in store for her? Once again, our decision. Liam Rogers. An elite helicopter pilot. He usually calls dibs on the bigger helicopters. Vance Kite. He's heard it all. Don't try to talk your way out of an arrest with this guy. Jack Dugan. A sniper from New Zealand. He was specifically recruited by the Tobak clan in an Avengers-esque end credit scene. Okay then. Frankie Pizza. He dreams of playing for the Boston Celtics, but his basketball skills were never good enough. Norm Hexter. Tech specialist in the government's ranks. He designed this electromagnetic pulse system. Howard Lipton. If he doesn't have his morning tea, then he is completely useless in the field. Victoria Grit, one of the strongest captains in the Tobak range, has several successful missions under her belt. Gerald Gruff. His voice about 2 octaves below average. Billy Brown. For 7 years, he's never washed behind his ears. Ugh. Orban Lamb. He's very high-strung. Being a soldier might not be a good career path for him. Dan D. Lyons. He's found the perfect combination of laundry detergents. The scent is the most amazing thing. Major Herschel Panzer. This is his first time in his combat suit is in the field. He's had his son working hard in the police force. Lucas Broomhandle, youngest of 5 siblings. He takes to a new hobby every week. So wait, this guy is a sibling. I think he was from somewhere here in the prison. Find anyone whose last name is Panzer. May take a while, but I may not find anything at the same time. Johnny Panzer, there. That might be the one. That might be the father of Johnny. Anyway, Lucas Bromhandle, the youngest of 5 siblings. He takes to a new hobby every week. June July. She was born in August. Timu Swami. He grew up in Finland, so he doesn't require sunlight to function properly. Ollie Endor. He's addicted to baking shows. He always tries to bake along, but fails after 10 minutes. Gary Atrix. He's getting up there in age, but he's still as spry and any youngin in the squad. As spry as any youngin in the squad, I guess. Merle Goldenfold. He's always wanted to grow cool beer, but it never quite comes in all the way. Anthony Lee. When he was 3, he ate a bumblebee. Okay then. Frederick Munster. His hat is literally never made of. His hat is literally made of cheese. Nobody will bunk with him. All part of the plan. Smushed Sammy. His first day in the Tobak clan, he fell on his hat and it got smushed. The name just kind of stuck. Pablo Sleuth, an ace detective in the top hat ranks. There's no problem he can't eventually solve and he's always armed. Captain H.G. Canterbury. He's one of the men in charge of information gathering. He has a brother who works at the police force. Okay, then. Thomas Chips. His father, Alan, is the co-founder of the Electronics Entertainment Expo. Filbert. He's part of the checkpoint inspection team, but he really just wanted to sit on the train. Jim Pulp. He's the type of person that always passes out on a trip. Darius Johnson. He's a gemstone appraiser within the Top Hat clan. He values how much their stolen gems are worth. Mr. Job. He was going to start his own computer business, but was beat to the punch by someone with the same name. Jones Scone. Hold the phone. Is that Jones Scone, the one that owns all the loans? Gee, tongue twister much. Al the pal. His high charisma made him a valuable member of the clan. Nobody has ever reported having issues with him. Stanley Grass. He has 2 blades of grass growing out the top of his head and he's very sensitive, so that's why he wears the hat, to hide it. Wallace Dagwood. He used to be on the front lines, but he took a bad hit to the face. He's been running more of a support role since. Ice Pick. Since he's stationed in a snowy environment, he wants a cool nickname. Now he's stuck with it. Stan Lundgren. A regular at this establishment, he comes in every day to read the newspaper and have a cup of coffee. Helmut Vikov. Fresh out of a bar fight, he's been laying there for a solid 3 hours. Perry Sherman. He likes collecting the bottles from all the patrons. He works a long shift every day, so he's usually pretty pooped. Mysterious Vagabond. A drifter who's coming to town, and it seems like he's not just passing. So that's the Elias Henry goes by in the presumed dead routes, because he wears that as he's living undercover in Russia. Kane West. He was in the music production business, but one plagiarism accusation later, he gave up and joined the Top Hats. Right hand man. He still serves as Reginald's number 2. His extreme loyalty is what a Top Hat member should strive for. Sal Malone. He used to be in the Mafia, but wanted to branch out because they felt there were already too many Italians. Whoa, geez, it's kind of racist. Mr. Lincoln. He was not related to the president. He just looks a lot like him. Whitehead. He wanted to be named after a snake, but most people think of pimples when they hear his name. Patty Pride. Purple is his favorite drink. That's not a drink. Henry Stickmin. He kept getting harassed for being a criminal. Eventually, he became fed up and joined the Top Hats to make it true. So, because in the first file, he said, not to be confused with Henry Stickmin. So, I guess that was him. That was the actual Henry Stickmin. They probably confused him with Stickmin. So, yeah. B. Hampton, the head concierge to the Stickmin Space Resort. He's one of the first Top Hats to convert and helped with the transposition of the others. Carlos Candela. He's bad at pool, like really bad at pool. I mean, look at the technique. It's just sad. Elizabeth Green. She's here on her honeymoon, one of the Stickmin Space Resort's most common booklets. Lars Green, here with his wife for their honeymoon. Both of them have always wanted to go to space. Snowcap. He picked a far-off station so that he wouldn't need to do much work. Clement Warrenty. He was fed up with driving trucks for a living, so he turned to smuggling. Now he's one of the Top Hat's best drivers. Mr. Macbeth. He's often compared to an ape, which he takes as a compliment. He hates it when people don't take him seriously. Blast Connors. His ego is one of the biggest in the entire Top Hat clan. Matilda Ivy. She has probably the coolest hair of any Top Hat member, and she knows it. M.F. Jones. If you mess with him, he will mess you up. His full name is Milhouse Fillmore Jones. Bartolomeo. An opera singer who was refused payment after a show. The Top Hat clan offered him the revenge he was seeking. Larry the Guy. Why are you asking about cables? He doesn't know anything about that. He's not the cable guy. Grunt. He showed up to the Top Hat clan dressed like this. They're not going to turn down a great fighter, though. As he's supposed to be the pyro. Mischievous Martin. Part of the planning division of the Top Hat clan. He used to run legendary pranks. Mr. Teal. He thinks his hat is teal, but it's more of a cyan, really. Don Miguel. His RPG character owns a magical shop. Or was it a ship? General Gale Force. The results of the airship blade seem to have led to a large promotion. He's not a specialist in dealing with the Top Hats. Charles he's experienced with multiple different types of flying vehicles. He gets brought in for special missions only. Smoker Tyson. Chain smoker if I ever saw one. He smokes a pack an hour, but it gives him some kind of power. Marty O. Every time he jumps, he makes a super loud noise, like a tennis player. Luigi. Even though he's taller, he's always been his brother's shadow. He doesn't really mind that. So these guys are Mario and Luigi, literally. The Witch. Top Hat clan's main herbalist. She should totally embrace her nickname so she can be rather odd. Sheriff, just one of the many political figures the Top Hat clan has in their pocket. There's corrupt politicians in the clan. The ruffian, usually put on the front lines of for the Top Hat clan. His head has taken lots of damage over the years. Tin Tin Tin. You can only say one word. The details aren't clear, but I think time travel is involved. Gone Hunter. He lives rock, paper, scissors, and always throws rock. Losing never crushes his spirits, though. Ken Jampon. He's got a hole in his face and is a master of rock, paper, scissors. People feel weaker after losing to him. But why does he have a hole in his face? Carol Cross, one of the higher-ups in the clan. She's extremely strict and by the books. You don't want to cross her. Stu Pendles. A series of events has caused him to owe money to Carol Cross. This is very bad for him. Bucket Hat. Bucket Hat. Okay then. 5 eyes. He wears glasses, so he should be called 4 eyes. Where's the 5th eye? Talon Circus. He was recruited out of the circus. He's an acrobatic wizard and really difficult to deal with in a fight. Crusher. He can crush an apple in his bare hand. That's about it. The Magician. He can pull your spleen right out of his hat. He used to be a professional wrestler, but that ended very poorly. Mr. Fatlip. He's actually got a pretty bad lisp. He's not actually a big fan of his nickname, but it's really hard to change these things. Scar. He disabled the name he dibs the name after the previous Scar was defeated. Eduardo Giancarlo, a master pickpocket. He's actually sought out the Top Hat clan and joined them. Usually it's the other way around. So he looked for them instead of them looking for him. Jeremy Steinfeld. He's in an apartment in New York and wonders what the deal with everything is. So he's a parody of Jeremy Seinfeld. Of Jerry Seinfeld. Jeff Constanza. He's very neurotic and constantly causing problems for himself. So the TV show was a parody of Seinfeld, and he is George Costanza. Top Bot. A top-of-the-line robot built for missions that go hot. Hannibal Burns. You can never tell if he's paying attention because he always looks so relaxed. Smokestack. People think the nickname is because of the hat, but he's a pyromaniac. Dusty. He had one of the longest runs as the leader of the Top Hats. He often moved so slowly, people often thought he was dead. Cloudface. He lost his position as leader because people couldn't understand his commands through his beard. Randy Ratman ran the Top Hat clan through the party era. Things were a blast until they were bankrupt. Reynaldo the Brute, one of the fiercest leaders the Top Hat clan has ever had. Unfortunately, he was lost in combat. Sir Wilford IV. He defeated the previous clan leader to claim the title. He despises incompetence. Terrence Swamp, one of the worst leaders the clan has ever had. He would launch raids that made no sense just for the thrill. Mr. Skyscraper. He's got a tall hat, so of course he needs a tall nickname. Earrings. Her earrings function for battle purposes besides looks. They can blind people with a bright flash. Red Crimson. I think his name is also, but he's pretty redundant if you ask me. Jacques Kensington. Bit of an eccentric leader. He always walked around with his gold deagle in his hand. Sven Svensson. He took over leadership when their previous leader and right-hand man went missing. Gus Briggs. Hit the bricks, pal. You're done. He said that joke about 80 times during the arrests. Sir Hattie. He's always crying. People think this is from the losses from his old friends. So he's Hattie from Battle Block Theater. Chip Crumb. He's got some crappy second-hand Top Hat when he joined. He's been really rethinking his membership lately. Brian Reynolds. He could have been a model, but wanted to do something more important with his life. John Frog Pilskett. Master when it comes to stealth and infiltration. Gray. Okay. Gordon Eelbanks. A tech wizard. If it's electronic, he can work his magic. Amelia Turtle Esteban. A demolitions expert. She loves blowing stuff up and hates when things would take too long. Mr. Goldblum. He used to be a CEO before he was found embezzling funds to the Top Hat clan. Howie Howitzer. He was an orphan taken in by the Top Hat clan. They gave him a name in hopes he'd live up to it. He hasn't. Okay then. Pink Man. He's not violated with any chemistry teachers or cardinals. He just has a pink hat. Amber Downs. This is his first tour and he knew it would be a doozy. Rupert Price. Again. He's gone over more intense missions ever since his police days. Bort Sampson. He thought he had a unique name, but he's met at least 5 other Borts. He's a diagram of Bart's. It almost reminded me of Bart Simpson. Mr. Thick, one of the Top Hat's best chefs. He makes the fattest burgers and juiciest steaks. Peanut is ironic because he has a peanut allergy. The Leprechaun, he totally embraces his appearance. He's even adopted a terrible fake Irish accent to complete the ensemble. Ali Jean, he'd be like Wicked Metal. Pick up yourself. And Tony the Sparta, he could kick it through a solid steel beam with ease. Right-hand man Blue, he's been rewired to protect Henry at all costs. The Top Hat loyalty is so deep, can it really be completely removed? Nope. Cannot. Stephen Willis, he doesn't do combat at all, but he's often needed to run as support. Dwayne the Jones Jensen. The Stone Jensen instead of Dwayne Johnson. Headstrong, he's been wanting to take leadership for a while, but he just hasn't found the right opportunity. Rock Cool Steve Dallas, he's been waiting for a leadership position to open up. He's not going to let it slip out from under him now. Dill Tally, he's always wanted to go on a stealth mission. He tries to be stealthy, and every mission goes on to make up for it. Alice Hamilton, the evening reporter at BCC. She's a fairly new reporter, but she's been doing a great job. Bert Curtis, the head of communications of the Top Hat clan. He's a liaison between the new leaders and the rest of the Recon team, and he looks fed up with his job. The Marble Man, he's not strong like Marble. He just likes marbles. Wilhelm Krieghaus, again, Top Hat member for 40 years. His English has improved throughout the years, but he still has an accent. Bloodhound, a master of hunting down people and objects. He's the guy responsible for filling up the brig with bounties. Tane Flagenstout, his hat and wobble technique is something to behold. Sarah Conifer, she's a firm believer that AI will one day try to take over the world. Max Waxwell Gex, his parents named him after a lizard, or was it a gecko? Pendle Toad, his favorite ice cream is Rocky Road. Elmer Paisano, he moved out to the middle of nowhere to start fresh. I don't think it's going so well. Marcus Blaber, talk like this? He does. Not sure why? I am. Gremlin, she's extremely scrappy and feisty. Rumored she grew up on her own in the woods. Mr. Villain, he speaks and behaves like a 1920s movie villain. I don't know if that started before or after he joined the Top Hats. And I am really stumbling over my own words. Jeez. Hazmat, he really wants a hazmat suit. He's preemptively claimed this name, but who knows how long it will take to get the suit. Arnold Schwarz, again, an elite Top Hat member. His commanding voice is perfect for leading men into battle. Gene Frederickson used to be a mayor, but fled when his plans to smuggle a large diamond out of a museum were uncovered, so he tried to steal the diamond for himself. Albert Parsley, one of the wealthiest Top Hat members. He tends to fund most of the expensive operations for high profit. Jack Human, an up-and-coming member of the Top Hat clan. He has yet to make a name for himself. Jack Human instead of Hugh Jackman. Paul Ascot. His entire career has just been delivering bad news. Holy Cap. The hole in his hat was caused by the laser accident. The bookie. The man in charge of cooking the books in the Top Hat clan. He's a big stickler for rules and keeping things in order. That's why he says to keep the vault door closed. Chuck Wellington. His great-grandfather is the inventor of beef. Allegedly. Fred Finestone. He always runs around barefoot and shoots a super loud catchphrase. People tend to avoid him. Dr. Vinchelstein, a solo practitioner that specializes in cybernetic surgery. She travels around the world in her boat, which doubles as her workstation. Reference, a short-range spirit. If you're punched by him, you are sent into an alternate timeline. He can also swap places with Henry. Mac Dandy. His forgery skills are top of the line. His forged paintings are a big source of income for the Top Hat clan. Ham Bag. He was down on his luck selling ham out of a bag when he was found dead by the Top Hats. Blueberry. He only eats blueberries. Nobody has ever seen him eat anything else. Thomas Cheshire. He preferred it when Henry was the leader of the Top Hat clan. Hat Girl. She just kind of appeared to join the ranks. People said they saw her in a spaceship or something. Handsome Harold. He's in charge of keeping the Top Hats' collection of information organized. Jeffrey Plum. He's always been an ideas guy. His head is just big enough, and it's not because of an extra large brain. So yeah, he laid out the plans for us in the Top Hat civil warfare route, and Chestershire preferred it when Henry was the leader, which is why he stayed loyal to Henry. Miss Demeanor. She's pretty proud of her name, but she was too lazy to check if it's been used before. Barbershop Bill. Even though he wears a barbershop hat, he's stuck cutting hair as even worse is singing a cappella. Alfonso Cruz. Pronouncing the sh sound is very important. He gets offended if you pronounce it as Alfonso, so as Alfonso. Floyd Winters. Unfortunately, his friend Harry doesn't show up in this game. Dave Pampa. He spent a long time in the top hat cell. His life will probably never be the same. Matteo Gurchev. One of the 3 people at the wall that actually knows how to operate a tank. Dimitri Johannes Petrov. He lost quite a few teeth in the escape attempt, so he now speaks with a lisp. 10 pence. When he joined the Top Hat clan, he only had 10p to his name. He keeps the name to remember his origins. Weak sauce. He's been on the verge of getting kicked out of the clan multiple times. Mr. Angery. This guy actually has an anger problem. It doesn't help him fight or anything. It mostly just distracts everyone. Dima Pensky. When this is his first time ever being out of the country, he didn't know there was this much green in the whole galaxy. Dolan Torkov. He has a personal vendetta against the Top Hat clan, so he made sure to come on this mission. Todd Tater. He used to be a Spudson, but he married into the Tater family. Bill Cook. Before he lived in the military, he joined the military. He lived in a house with way too many people. Conrad Bukowski. He joined the military with his twin. They've always been on missions as a pair. Calvin Bukowski. He joined the military with his twin. Always been on missions as a pair. Bob Pants. His father was a pants salesman, but he broke tradition and went into the military. Paul Penn. He claims he's related to Sean Penn, but has never been able to prove it. Ivan Petrotiva. He forgot to switch out of his Yushenka before coming into the jungle and sprinting up a bunch of stairs, so that's why he's all sweaty. Grigory Olyat. His arm is still freshly broken after being hit by a car but during the escape incident. Stoneface. He will never get an emotion out of this face. Quincy Tatmuffin. His family has been in the Top Hat clan for generations. They've never really made a name for themselves, though. Fred Worst. He really is just the worst. Nancy Popo. She's been going on mountain climbing expeditions in the area. Nobody has attempted to map the mountains here. Natasha Dayton. She hangs out with her pal Travis at the tavern every week. Maybe one day she'll get the courage to ask him out. Travis de Groot. He lost an eye in an explosive incident. He used to be a mercenary but gave up that life when the updates stopped coming. So he's from TF2. He's a Tavish from the Demo Man. Josh Taylor. He's really excited to be part of such a big mission. You could say he's a bit overconfident. Dre Kemper, a relatively new recruit. He really hasn't learned all the ropes yet, including the one about loose ships, slip-sticking ships. Quentin Alabaster. He has had a couple of greenhorns placed under his watch, and he's sick of babysitting them. Hank Stockman. He keeps calm in any situation, or at least he appears that way because of his sweet shades. Hayden Brock. He gets bored easily and realizes that making bets makes things more interesting. Mad Lad. He starts his day with a nice can of Kerpow energy drink. Andrew Cobbler, the engineer in charge of Big Boy. He got stuck on an issue with it and wasn't able to fix it in time for the raid. Dijon Pongelo, the main operator of Big Boy. He's coming to terms with not being able to pile the Big Boy into the raid today. Timothy Turner. He used to have 2 imaginary friends when he was so he's Timmy. Brock Hollowitz. Just one more tour and I could go home and be with my family. Elias Bachin. He mans one of the many CCC mobile units. There are hundreds of these scattered throughout the world. Phantom. His suit allows him to turn invisible, and he's able to pinpoint locations for his nuclear strikes with his rifle. Jose Gonzalez. He's been a gamer since 2008, but only plays a few free-to-play games. You can catch him wearing the default hat, so he's to play on Jose Gonzalez, a typical new player in TF2. Peter Maryville. He always wears a helmet. You never know when a stray bullet might come flying. Ogre Crip. He has pretty good stats for the cost. He's also pretty good with can't be targeted tap. I have tapping to something can't be targeted. Beans. He's just been thinking about those beans. Curly Brown. One of the smartest Top Hat members. He's a PhD in cartoon logic and physics. Dr. Glass. He's not actually a doctor. Actually, nobody calls him doctors. Can we get this title changed, please? Ski. This guy is seedy, even for a Top Hat member. Keep this on DL, but I heard they're planning to cut ties with him. Barry Bruh. When it comes to frantically clamoring for weapons, he can't be beat. BF number 503. One of the many BS. He always strives to improve his hot dog eating and bug collecting skills. Ellery. The fusion of Henry and Ellie. They have the fierceness of Ellie and the luck of Henry. Kabitz. He towers over his other Top Hat members. He always engages in the pre-fight banter. Pop the Top. He couldn't figure out how to fix his top hats, and now people just call him Pop the Top. Cool Joe. He managed to make it back after being locked up in the wall for several years. Good thing there was a breakout. Orange Hat Kid. He's thought of a dance that also works as a great exercise move. Toby Mac. This guy is too cool for school. Ladies just can't stay away. Pasta Primavera. He's for the new crew here in the Top Clan. They all got their start in Italy. Figaro Mulligatawini. Part of a small Italian crew. They all joined the Top Clan at the same time. Parmesa Lasagna. Him and his crew joined the Top Clan at the behest of their boss. Like, he used to be a hero, but he took an arrow to the chest and was in the hospital for 3 weeks. Wonk. He had just lost the game. Crabman. He claims the batteries in his back pocket give him great dancing abilities. Conky Dog. If he shoots you, it's gonna hurt, so he's Donkey Kong. Mr. Unstoppable. He's been extremely lucky since he joined the Top Hats. Will it last? Jonathan Bravo. We don't know if it's intentional or not, but he sounds exactly like Elvis Presley. Cowboy. Couldn't come up with a very interesting nickname. He just got fixated on the word cowboy, so he settled. Siggy. His top hat is actually a giant cigarette. He's got to make sure he stays away from fire. Tommy Partridge. He will help Top Rat make plans by creating animatics to break down all the details of the plan to aid success. And Sleepy Dog. Hang around him too much and you'll start acting funny. So he's a Snoop Dogg parody. So that was all the bios, and with that being said, it's time for Multiverse imbalance getting fixed. Alert. Multiverse at capacity. Initializing multiversal defragmentation. Defragmentation complete. Warning. Anomaly detected. Correcting anomaly. 1 year ago.
Oh, a package, huh?
Oi, Dave!
Yep. Hey, I got a package here for someone named Henry.
I love delivering packages.
So the Chaos Containment Center delivered the package to Henry back in escaping the prison. Thank you for enjoying the Henry Stickmin games all these years. Well, you're welcome, Puffballs. So yeah, that was the Henry Stickmin games. We got all the endings, we got all the bios, and we got all the fails. So yeah, really did enjoy this series. And then maybe in my spare time I'll try to find the rest of the collectibles and complete the mission. Because I don't feel like it's worth for trying to record that, because it might take forever. But either way, that really just does it for the Henry Stickmin collection. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Farewell.